impending defeat. A long time ago, in the fun underwater city of Bikini Bottom, a group of friends, including SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, SquarePants, and Sandy Cheeks, embarked on an unforgettable adventure. It all started with SpongeBob stumbling upon a strange story about a haunted pineapple hidden at the bottom of the ocean. Rumors of a haunted pineapple reached SpongeBob's ears during a party at the Krusty Krab. The story was about an exact replica of SpongeBob's own pineapple house, but cursed, inhabited by an evil creature. Curiosity swept through the innocent heart of SpongeBob SquarePants, and his friends, although alarmed, decided to join him in this dangerous exploration. The next day, armed with courage and a little skepticism, the group went in search of the haunted pineapple. Following the clues of ancient legends and buried legends, they dared to go into the uncharted waters. The journey was filled with a sinister silence and a heavy foreboding, but their determination pushed them to move forward. After hours of searching, they came across a scary and hidden creek. In its bowels comfortably settled haunted pineapple, sinister and seductive. Its windows seemed to shine with an unearthly light, bringing them closer together. After swallowing frantically, SpongeBob took the initiative into his own hands and walked through the creaking door of the pineapple. When the friends crossed the threshold, they were enveloped by an otherworldly cold, and the door behind them closed. They are trapped in a perverted version of Bikini Bottom, a dark reflection of their beloved city. The streets were deserted, the buildings dilapidated, and eternal darkness hung in the air. They quickly realized that the haunted pineapple was not just a copy, it was an evil creature capable of distorting reality to satisfy its evil desires. With every step they took, they had goosebumps down their backs, as the very fabric of their fears and nightmares began to materialize before their eyes. SpongeBob's biggest fear, his favorite house snail, Gary, turned into a menacing creature gliding in the shadows, mocking him with piercing eyes. Squidward found himself surrounded by a cacophony of whistling and jeering from the crowd, unable to escape their merciless torment. Patrick was faced with the terrifying prospect of finding himself alone on a desert island, and his hilarious laugh breaks down. As the horrors became stronger, the friends realized that they had to face their fears if they ever hoped to get out of the clutches of a haunted pineapple. They gathered all their waning courage and began their insidious journey through the distorted streets of this nightmarish version of Bikini Bottom. With each confrontation, the friends discovered that the source of their fears was in themselves. SpongeBob had to overcome self-doubt and believe in his own resilience. Squidward had to use the power of self-acceptance and overcome the judgments of others. Patrick had to face his fear of isolation and discover the strength that was hidden in his own communication. Together they fought their inner demons, and with each triumph the phantom pineapple weakened. But when the evil creature felt its impending defeat, it fell into despair and had its worst nightmares. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the friends showed up in front of the large haunted pineapple room where the evil creature itself was waiting for them. He took on the appearance of a monstrous being, the embodiment of their innermost fears. His eyes burned with anger. Having gathered the last remnants of their courage, SpongeBob and his friends opposed the creature, refusing to succumb to their horror. They stood together, united in the face of darkness, and, full of courage, they cast a powerful spell, invoking the strength of their friendship and their unshakable determination. In a dazzling burst of light, the phantom pineapple crashed, turning into nothing. The nightmarish version of Bikini Bottom has disappeared, succeeding the lively and familiar city that they used to call home. Exhausted but triumphant, the friends emerged from the haunted pineapple, forever changed after their excruciating ordeal. The haunted pineapple has been defeated, but its dark legacy has survived. SpongeBob and his friends have sworn to protect others from falling victim to his wickedness. They became the guardians of hidden stories and forbidden knowledge, spreading instructive stories to prevent others from awakening the sleeping horrors that lurk in the depths of the ocean. And then, when the sun set behind Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends came back to life. Their bond became stronger than ever. They still remember the haunted pineapple and the shadows that lurked under the surface of their favorite underwater paradise.
Once upon a time, in the bustling underwater city of Bikini Bottom, life was as joyful and bright as ever. SpongeBob, the ever-optimistic French fry chef at Krusty Krab restaurant, couldn't contain his excitement when he entered the restaurant one fateful morning. Mr. Krabs, the owner who earns pennies, smiled mischievously as he waved SpongeBob to come to his table. "SpongeBob, my boy, I have something special in store for a crunchy crab!" Mr. Krabs exclaimed, his eyes shining with greed. With a curious tilt of his SquarePants, SpongeBob asked, "What's the matter, Mr. Krabs? A new ingredient for a Krabby Pie?" "Yes, my boy, you have it," Mr. Krabs replied, barely able to contain his excitement. "I have discovered a rare and mysterious ingredient that will make Krabby Pie the most delicious delicacy in the whole ocean. It's hidden in a secret vault in the heart of Bikini Bottom." SpongeBob's eyes widened in anticipation. He didn't know that this ingredient would trigger a chain of events that would change his life and the lives of his friends forever. Later that day, under the bright light of a full moon, Mr. Krabs led SpongeBob down a dimly lit alley. The air was thick with an alarming chill, and SpongeBob had an uneasy feeling as they approached the dilapidated building. "That's it, SpongeBob," Mr. Krabs whispered, his voice trembling slightly. "Entrance to the secret vault." With a creak, the rusty door opened, revealing a long corridor shrouded in darkness. SpongeBob hesitated for a moment, feeling an inexplicable anger emanating from within. However, his unwavering loyalty to Mr. Krabs pushed him forward. As they descended deeper into the hidden vault, SpongeBob's eyes widened at the sight in front of him. Countless shelves lined the walls, filled with dusty folios and jars of mysterious substances. In the center of the room, enclosed in a glass box, was the source of their search, the cursed ingredient. He glowed with an otherworldly radiance, muttering promises of unspeakable taste and power. Mr. Krabs, whose greed surpassing any semblance of prudence, broke a glass and tore out the cursed ingredient with his clawed hand. Immediately, a strange green mist enveloped the room. A shiver ran down SpongeBob's spine as he watched Mr. Krabs transform before his eyes. His once bright red shell turned ashen gray, and his eyes shone with an unholy light. The cursed ingredient possessed him. In a voice that made SpongeBob shudder, Mr. Krabs ordered, "SpongeBob, make a Krabby Pie with the damn ingredient. Let its taste conquer the souls of all who consume it." Fear squeezed SpongeBob's heart, but he knew he had to obey. Reluctantly, he put on his hat and fry cook's apron and started cooking the most disgusting Krabby Pie the world has ever seen. The news about the new delicacy Krusty Krab spread in Bikini Bottom. Residents unaware of the dark forces at work flocked to the restaurant, attracted by the promise of unsurpassed taste. With each sip, the customers' eyes lit up, and a sinister smile spread across their faces. They became slaves to the cursed ingredient, consumed by an insatiable hunger for Krabby Pies. Over time, the once busy streets of Bikini Bottom have turned into a desert of stupid and gluttonous creatures. SpongeBob, who witnessed the chaos and destruction caused by the cursed Krabby Patty, knew that he had to find a way to break the spell. Uniting his remaining friends, Patrick, Sandy, Squidward and even Plankton, he developed a plan to confront the evil force controlling their beloved city. Heading into the heart of the crunchy crab, SpongeBob and his companions fought their way through an army of creatures infected with Krabby Patty. Their journey led them to Mr. Krabs, the embodiment of greed and evil, who guarded the source of the cursed ingredient. With courage in his heart, SpongeBob confronts Mr. Krabs, begging him to free the city from the power of darkness. A fierce battle ensued, full of uncertainty and dangers. In a moment of clarity, Mr. Krabs, his love for his employees, having mastered the cursed ingredient, broke out of his control. As the cursed ingredient lost its power, the city of Bikini Bottom gradually returned to normal. The infected citizens, freed from their insane state, came to their senses and rejoiced at their deliverance. After that, Bikini Bottom recovered, but the memory of the cursed Krabby Patty has been preserved as a cautionary tale. SpongeBob and his friends learned a valuable lesson about the consequences of uncontrolled ambition and the importance of loyalty and friendship. And so the crunchy crab once again became a place of joy and laughter, where the aroma of freshly baked crab cakes filled the air. But deep down, SpongeBob and his friends knew that evil could lurk even in the brightest places, always ready to cast its dark shadow on their beloved.
Long ago, in the depths of the ocean, in the bustling city of Bikini Bottom, the air was filled with excitement. SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends went on an adventurous journey to discover the mysteries of the depths of the sea. They had no idea that their next adventure would lead them to the most terrible encounter of their lives, a ghost ship. It was a dark and stormy night when SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, and Mr. Krabs came across an ancient shipwreck site. The dilapidated ship was in full growth. From its terrible presence, goosebumps ran down their backs. The ship was unlike anything they had ever seen before, with torn sails, broken masts, and an aura of ill will surrounding it. Curiosity overwhelmed the group when they decided to board the ship. The creak of the planks echoed in the silence as they walked softly over the ghost ship. As they explored the abandoned corridors, the air grew colder and a sinister silence filled their ears. Suddenly, an obsessive whisper spread over the ship, "Attention, uninvited guests." The voice seemed to come from nowhere and from everywhere at the same time, forcing the friends in fear to huddle together even more tightly. They realized that they were not alone. The ship was populated by vengeful spirits, troubled souls seeking revenge for a forgotten tragedy. The ghost pirates materialized from the shadows, their translucent forms shone from another world. They had an unfinished business, they were locked in a ghost ship for centuries, and now they longed for the souls of the living. The friends' hearts were quickly hammered when they realized what danger they were in. The spirits, led by the ruthless Captain Barnacles, mercilessly pursued SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends through the labyrinths of the ship's corridors. Every turn they took only seemed to lead them deeper into an obsessive nightmare. The walls of the ship seemed to move and rebuild on their own, creating an endless labyrinth of fear and confusion. While they were running, SpongeBob and his friends saw glimpses of their own worst fears. Squidward was haunted by an endless audience that booed and mocked each of his performances. Sandy was in a stuffy cell, trapped under a pile of acorns that threatened to bury her alive. Patrick's mind was filled with darkness, with an all-consuming emptiness that absorbed all his thoughts. Despair fueled their determination to get out of the ship's vice. They were desperately looking for a way out, their hope was melting every moment. But just when they thought that everything was lost, SpongeBob came across an old newspaper hidden in the cabin of the ship's captain. The magazine revealed the tragic story of a ghost ship. The crew committed horrible acts of piracy and betrayal, betraying each other for their own benefit. As a punishment, a curse was imposed on them, which tied their souls to the ship forever. The only way to lift the curse was to find a relic hidden at the bottom of the ship, the Heart of Redemption. Armed with this new knowledge, SpongeBob and his friends have embarked on an insidious journey to find the Heart of Redemption. They are faced with insidious traps, illusions, and a ruthless pursuit of vengeful spirits. The ship seemed alive, squirming and turning to prevent them from progressing, testing their resolve at every turn. With each test overcome, their bond became stronger and stronger. The eternal optimism of SpongeBob SquarePants, the ingenuity of Sandy, the unexpected courage of Squidward, the dedication of Patrick and the determination of Mr. Krabs have become their greatest weapons against the spirits. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of fear and danger, they discovered a secret room in which the Heart of Redemption was located. The room was filled with an otherworldly glow, and the air was heavy with the wrath of spirits. They felt that their chance of salvation was slipping away. But SpongeBob, with his unshakable spirit, held the Heart of the Atonement in his hands and pronounced the words engraved on him, forgiveness and redemption. In an instant, a dazzling light enveloped the ship, scattering the darkness and forever driving away the vengeful spirits. When the light went out, the friends found themselves safe again with Bikini Bottom, and the ghost ship became just a distant memory. This heartbreaking experience has changed them, forcing them to appreciate their friendship and the fragility of life in a new way. Since that day, SpongeBob and his friends have met each adventure with a little more courage and a little less fear. The story of the ghost ship has become an instructive legend in Bikini Bottom, a reminder of the darkness that hides under the waves and the power that can be found in friendship and forgiveness. Thus, the brave souls of SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends continued to live, ready to face all the frightening mysteries that the ocean had prepared for them, always together, always fearless.